Okay, so let's say we're opened at 6:40 p.m. And here we go. This meeting of the Planning Board is being recorded for transmission on Rutland Public Access Television and YouTube pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Laws, Chapter 38, Section 18, and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Town of Rutland Planning Board will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific interest and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and or parties with a right and or requirement to attend this meeting can be found at Rutland's website at townofrutland.org. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to watch the meeting may do so in the following manner: by watching Rutland Community Television live on channel 192 on the town's website, www.townofrutland.org, or by viewing a recording of the meeting on the town's YouTube page following the meeting. No person in attendance by the members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on Rutland's website a video recording, meeting minutes, or other comprehensive record proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting.
Hey, Norm,
Yes.
why don't you tape record that?
I probably should. I am truly hoping that we are not going to have to do too many more meetings like this. I did talk to Mike yesterday and asked him about just that. He has gotten no guidance from the state regarding, committee meetings and that sort of thing as to what needs to happen and so forth. So, but they are getting ready to at least open up, I guess, the town buildings. That's going to be happening before too long.
Well, Norm, this is a perfect opportunity since we have to social distance to get a larger planning board room, right?
There you go. Yes. Yes. Which, to be perfectly honest with you, not that I'd rather move around, but there are other rooms, that are large enough that we can stay 6 feet apart.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if either of you or any of you have been up to Community Hall, but they're tearing all the inside doors off and putting in plexiglass panels and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, we can use. Oh, we don't have the PC. I was going to say the wood studio is pretty big to keep 6 feet apart for 6 or 8 people. If we have a meeting, that wouldn't make sense. No, we got to. Yeah, that wouldn't work.
No, the big conference room in the library would work.
Yeah, that's true too.
Or as Dick has suggested, the parking lot would work. I can just see that in the thunderstorm.
Yeah.
I'll be sure to bring my lightning rod if they do.
All right. Are we opening up the bylaw subcommittee the same time for this meeting? Because they were both posted, I saw on the web.
I would say the answer to that is yes. Marilyn, do you want to open the subcommittee?
Yes. I think that's a good idea.
At 6:44?
Pardon?
At 6:44?
Okay, yep.
Okay.
So I just declare the meeting open of the bylaw subcommittee?
Yeah, and you can ditto the thing that I read if you want to.
And I can what?
Just ditto. Just say it's the same thing. All that stuff about how they can participate and all that stuff.
Norm, do you have that headphone thing on?
Yes.
It seems like there's a lot of feedback from it.
Really?
I don't know if you move it a little ways away from your face.
I I hear him fine.
How's that? I just moved it down.
Can you hear me? Can anybody hear me?
Yep.
Yes, Dick, we hear you.
Okay, good. Thank you.
I'm still having the same problem of not being able to see you, just hear you. So,
Yeah, Dick, I got no video.
so I just need to say that the bylaw subcommittee meeting is open.
Under the same conditions as the planning board meeting.
There we go, Mr. Williams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you at a bar?
Don't. I wish. No, I'm upstairs in the general store.
Uh-huh. All right. Let me see if I had the meeting minutes.
Okay, sounds like we're all here. So I guess go for the minutes of May 26th. Do I have any comments, questions, additions, deletions?
No, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
I'll second that.
Did I hear that as a second?
Yes.
Any discussion? In favor, roll call. Let's see.
Marilyn Sidoti, aye.
Dick,
Dick Williams, aye.
Tim,
Tim Norwald, aye.
Norm Anderson, aye. Is that everybody?
Sean.
Sean,
Aye.
aye. Okay. Next we have A&Rs, which is none.
Excuse me, if I could just jump in, Norm, do you think it would be a convenient time to take the planning board bylaw subcommittee minutes, or you want to hold off on that until later?
Okay, not a bad idea. Honestly, I can't say that I printed them out. I looked at them. They looked fine to me.
Yeah, I read them fairly thoroughly and they looked fine.
I make a motion to accept the minutes.
Is there a
Bylaw.
second? Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a roll call vote on those.
Dick
No,
Williams,
man.
aye.
Norm Anderson, aye.
Tim Norwald, aye.
John Moore, aye.
Marilyn Sidoti, aye.
And let's see, we don't have Bonnie, right?
No, I don't think she.
No, she's having dog.
Oh, another meeting.
But I think she sent an email, David, that I saw that said that she was okay with the minutes.
Yeah, Bonnie did.
Yes, that's what I saw.
Yes. At least half of it. She had to leave at around 7 o'clock.
Yeah. Okay, minutes out of the way.
So you want to close the bylaw, the subcommittee? Or
Well,
just doesn't make any difference to me.
we do have on the agenda the agricultural zoning bylaw. There
Okay.
might be something to come in from there on that one. So
All right.
won't hurt to keep it open, I don't think. Okay. Actually, just because I'm sure everybody is waiting to hear about it, I know it's not on the agenda, but you sent out a note, Dave. Let's get this over with. The court has handed down a decision on the Blair lawsuit against the managed growth bylaw. And Mike has asked that everybody be given an update. So Dave, you want to give an update, or do you want me to, or what?
Sure, I can do that. So the court, and this was taken up at the land court. So the land court has made a decision. The land court has upheld the bylaw in its most important elements, that being to limit the number of permits to 36 per year. The board found the bylaw to be constitutional. The court did have a few issues with a couple of sections, and those sections will be removed from the bylaw. One section was 94C regarding the 25% of building permits to be authorized to only one applicant. The court thought that that was a uniformity violation. What a uniformity violation is when it's an unequal application of the law, such that only for this case of building permits, this type of building permits, was there a requirement that only 25% go to one applicant. That kind of requirement does not exist for any other building permit type. And then the other one was the 95C regarding A&Rs being exempted. The court couldn't find a reason to do so. They couldn't make a distinction between a subdivision created lot versus an A&R. Now keep in mind, both of those sections were added as a way to provide equity to parties so that not one entity would get all of the building permits and that some building permit types would be exempt. So those were for equity. And then the court had a minor nitpick, and that was 98, the term of the bylaw. So the conditions and limitations could be extended by an affirmative vote of the town meeting. We all know that that means 2/3, but the court would like for the 2/3 vote to be spelled out. But otherwise, the court upheld the bylaw for the most important aspects of it.
But David, my understanding now is instead of 36 building permits for subdivision, it's 36 building permits including A&Rs.
Yes, the A&Rs are no longer exempt.
Yeah, that's a big one. And is that, I guess the question that was asked to me by a constituent, is that retroactive till May 2019?
I'd have to see about that aspect of it. This just came down yesterday.
Oh, I know. And
we
it was just asked. I wasn't expecting an answer, but I thought I better put it out there to see if that's retroactive.
And would that count all those Brice Lemon A&Rs also?
Yeah,
No, Brice Lemon is one of the things that the court found. There was a count that was kind of embedded into the main count, and that was whether or not Brice Lemon Estates was exempt from the bylaw as a subdivision. So Brice Lemon Estates, both parties agree that Brice Lemon Estates is exempt under the zoning freeze protection that belongs to subdivisions until December 9, 2022. I believe that the position is that the A&Rs are exempt as well because they belong to a subdivision that's otherwise exempt, and that these are changes to existing lots. They don't create new lots for the first time, so forth and so on.
You know, I'm just kind of curious. Does anybody have a specific recollection? Is that 36 building permits per calendar year?
I think, Norm, it was January to December, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So that's my question. This year, from January till June 9th, how many A&Rs and outside of Brice Lemon building permits have been issued?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the A&R lot, if I could jump in again, the A&R lot would come into play when the applicant seeks a building permit for a lot that was created by A&R. The A&R in and of itself is not countable until someone seeks a building permit. And the question is, you want a building permit for what? And the answer would be to build on a lot that was created by an A&R. So it's not in play until they seek a building permit.
Well, that was, and David, I apologize. I didn't say that well enough. For any A&Rs and any subdivisions outside of Brice Lemon that have gotten building permits between today and January 1st, somebody's going to have to do a count, and if it's 36, we're done. For, if I'm not mistaken, is that correct, or am I wrong, or?
Well, I can look into the retroactivity of the bylaw with respect to A&Rs and building
Okay.
permits issued for those.
All right.
How far back do the A&Rs go?
Dick, I'm guessing it'd go back till May of 2019 when the bylaw was approved at town meeting.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but again, that's an attorney question, not
Yeah.
really. I don't want to say I can answer that, but that's a question that I've got. Does it go back to May of 2019 when we approved it?
I don't think it could go back beyond January of 2020. That's the beginning. That's the beginning of a calendar year.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I personally feel it should be on the day that the court ruled on the matter. Everything after that date.
I would tend to think so.
We approved a lot of, since the bylaw was since it's been this whole action, we've already approved quite a few, and so I feel since they were approved by this board, we should uphold them, and then everything after the court made the decision should be, null and void up to that date.
Sean, the A&Rs we approve aren't the discussion point. It's when Willie issues a permit for the building on those A&Rs.
Okay.
So we could approve 200 A&Rs in Rutland from the planning board, and it wouldn't matter. It's just when they go to get a building permit to build on the A&Rs when the problem happens.
Right,
There can't be more than 3 building permits per month, either subdivisions or A&Rs, by this new ruling. If I'm understanding it correctly.
It's not a matter of when they come to this board and we approve it. It's after the fact. Okay. Then that kind of takes the onus off of us then.
Yes, but I don't think anybody will be doing A&Rs if they can't build houses on them.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
You have to use the restroom.
So are you saying that if there was an A&R that just created a couple of lots, that it would be only counted then, or would it be accounted again when they went for the building permit?
nothing is counted until there's a building permit.
Yeah, Norm's right. Yep.
So no, I was just kind of thinking of another thing that if someone, some person or whatever entity, won't name any names, could put themselves in a position where if there are, if there's building permit capacity left over near the end of the year, they could go in December, and grab a whole bunch of those building permits. And then January 1st, turn right around and go back in and grab a whole bunch more.
Did we leave that norm in the bylaw since we only did 3 a month? Did we leave that if there's capacity at the end of the year that they can be given out? I can't remember that. Because we did, if I remember right, it was 36, and that was a maximum of 3 per month. But I don't remember what the stipulation was, and I apologize. I don't have the bylaw in front of me. Of what, suppose the whole year we only use 26. Will we, at the 10 at the end of the year, are they still usable, or are they gone?
I don't remember.
I can't either. I'll have to go find that and look.
Yeah.
But you're right, because if somebody grabbed 10 at the end of December and then came back and got 3 more, they could have 13 building permits as of January 1st.
Mm-hmm. So, interesting where it's going to be first come, first serve.
Yeah. Or David, this is a question I had, more of an informational question. Can somebody and again, I'm just being facetious, but at 12:01 on July 1st, can they go on the building permit software and have 3 people with 3 computers try to get 3 permits at 12:01 a.m.?
Well, I think the operative thing is not when the applicant applies for the building permits. The operative thing is when the building commissioner reviews the building permits and makes the determination that the application is complete.
Okay. That's gonna, Willie's got a little bit of a dilemma in front of him.
It's going to be like trying to get concert tickets.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's not our problem. We just approve A&Rs.
Oh, that's good news. I'm glad.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. We done with that?
I'm good.
Yep.
Okay. Then I guess we're on to Maple Hill subdivision. Any applicable business? I don't know. I'm just kind of looking through here. I don't really see anything on Maple Hill.
Has Carl done any inspections? Because they're over there doing a lot of work.
I think we had something at our last meeting.
Yeah,
Right.
it was just about the roads, if I remember right.
Yeah, I don't see anything in our packet since then.
Okay. All right.
So, anything on Maple Hill?
Nope.
Okay. Then
No, never made it out there.
Then onward to subdivision Brice Lemon Estates, and we do have some correspondence here.
Yeah, I'm a little frustrated, Norm, when I read through this packet, so I'll let everybody else comment before I make mine.
I don't know. It appears that what Joe Buckley wants is he does want a guardrail at that entrance where the block retaining wall is, and they've got to do some finagling. There's pictures and everything else, drawings and so forth to show what they've got to do with the top blocks and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not sure if it has been really settled or not.
My problem with this, Norm, through the chair, is that I was assured by the applicant that this retaining wall was an engineered wall. When I read through these reports and emails back and forth, it sure doesn't look like it was engineered to me. It looked like it was put together by somebody who didn't understand how to put up a wall. And I'm amazed that Joe's not more excited about this, because if this thing falls or has any issues, it's Mr. Blair's right now, but eventually it's going to be the town's. And, you know, like I said, when I read through all these emails, as an engineer, I was like, that's not what we were assured of when we asked about, you know, because it was put in the wrong place in the first time. I get that. And we were working around that. But then when I read this or these emails, and everybody else can tell me if I'm wrong, but it sounds to me like this thing was put up willy-nilly and not by a structural engineer. So I'm a little bit frustrated. And everybody else tell me if I'm reading this wrong or if I'm misinterpreting it, but that's what I get out of these emails.
Well, and again, once again, you know, I'm definitely, I'm not an engineer, but I have to. I'd have to think that the retaining wall is a manufactured retaining wall. The bits and pieces of it lock into place, according to, I'm assuming, how they are supposed to. And if this was not a proper type of retaining wall, it would seem as though that would have shown up at some kind of an earlier report.
I thought so too. So that's why I was delving into this email, and I saw the pictures, and then I see a professional engineer, Eric Merlezi, sends pictures. That, again, being an engineer, the first thing I saw when I saw that's a cut sheet. I can send a cut sheet out of a book anytime I want, but where's the physical drawing that's associated with Brice Lemon showing me how that's actually put together? And we had that on a drawing, but it doesn't seem to match what this cut sheet is. So I'm confused. That's why I see Carl's comment about, not being a structural engineer, and David's too. So who do we get to review this to say, yeah, this is safe? I mean, that's all I care about, is it being safe and put together correctly.
I agree with you, Tim. It doesn't look like the blocks that are there.
Yeah. So
And
here's my problem.
And if these are not the blocks that are there, we need to put a hold on this thing and either get the right blocks or fix it the way it was supposed to be. Now, the question is, who can we ask to, would Joe, or should we ask Carl to chime in, or what the story is?
Well, Carl's always taken the opinion of, and this came back to the bridge days, he's not a structural engineer, he's a civil engineer. So I don't know, David, do you have anybody that you know that can basically be a consultant for us, that can get involved in this?
I can certainly talk to Carl to see if he has any references for structural engineers, or see what Joe is involved with. Seems that Joe is involved on these issues.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. Let's ask Joe, and then if he could even refer someone that if it comes down to at the builder's expense as well.
Yeah. And my main point is I just want the drawings to match what's being built, so the as-builts actually make sense with what's out there in the field.
And if they're not structurally sound, we need to know about it now.
Yeah.
We don't need to know it 5 minutes before the town is
Road's
going to
get accepted, Dick?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
That's my only concern, and that's why when I was delving in these emails, I felt I had like 60 or 70% of the information, and that's why I like Sean, your suggestion, and David, maybe yours. We asked Joe, do you have somebody that can have the town's interest, that can review this and tell us?
But I also would like Carl, if Carl knows an engineer or one that he could trust.
And sub it out? I'm fine with that.
Or somebody from the
No,
state.
I hate putting extra burden on Joe. That's all.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's a bad idea, Dick, to ask Quinn Engineering, ask Kevin. I mean, Kevin's been in the industry a long time. He's got to have a structural engineer that he knows that could chime in on this. And even if it's a
Yeah,
consultant basis, have them
exactly.
come in as a consultant, pay the consultant prices and back charges. I don't care. I just want it done right and safe.
Now,
I'd
the
rather
thing-
have Carl Hoker in between. Go ahead, Norm.
first of all, we've got to get specific on what exactly is our question. Are you questioning whether the entire wall is structurally appropriate for where it is?
If the structure
That's
Is it the
my
proper,
main
no,
concern.
is it the proper type of wall?
Yes.
What you're asking.
appropriate as it's made. Correct. Correct.
I just want reassurance that that wall is not going to collapse, say, after 5 years. That's a lot of weight.
I don't know. You know, I know we need assurances on these things, but I'm also just thinking that you know, these walls, while they may not be individually specifically engineered for each possible application, you know, these blocks are not made by some schmuck out in East Overshoe. I'm sure they are made by a company
Oh, I thought it was.
that has engineered them very, very well, very carefully to meet standards, probably highway standards.
I'm not worried about the components of the wall. I'm sure it's a quality component. What I'm worried about is when you buy those components, a structural engineer has to bless how they're put together into a retaining wall to make sure it is put together correctly. And the manufacturer gives a suggestion, but he is never ever going to give a drawing on how to put it together because that would make him liable. And that's what I think Carl's asking for on June 3rd at 8:45. He was asking for drawings, documentation from a structural engineer that the solution works at this specific location. And I couldn't find anywhere in these emails other than that sketch that was sent from Tom at Martelli Construction. There's no drawings. There's no engineered drawings other than this. It's a cut sheet. That's what it is. It's a cut sheet of the product, but it's not specific to that application. And you, as a structural engineer, again, this is just my experience. This is not me being a PE or recommending anything. You can't take a cut sheet and call that an engineered drawing. It doesn't work that way. So there is my problem. Carl's asked the right questions. He's done a great job on June 3rd at 8:41 a.m., but I don't think he's got his answers, and that's maybe what I'm asking for is Carl's email to be followed up with what he's asked.
So let's find a structural engineer and let's get it checked out. Does
I don't
that
know.
sound good with everybody?
I'm still a little bit.
Norm, I know what you're getting at, and I see we can't be vague in our request, but can we ask? I mean, Carl's email is pretty specific, and I don't think it's been answered. And maybe, and Dick, I hear you. Maybe we don't want to burden Joe anymore, but Joe was referenced. It was to him. The email was to Tom Larson at Martinelli Construction and Joe. And Joe didn't respond. The only one who responded was Tom. So I guess my question to Chief Buckley is Carl's request okay for what he would need as basically, because he's going to own this wall after this road's approved. Is this everything that Joe needs to make sure that if he has to do any repairs or he has to do anything with this or something happens to it, he's got all the information he needs? I guess that's what I'm getting at.
But
No,
on
are
those
you?
drawings, you see how the blocks are held together? Those blocks are not. They're just set on top of one another. They're not like this here.
Do you think we could pull up a picture of that, Dave?
Yeah, I don't have the drawing in front of me. That's the problem I've got. I don't have.
Well, I just think the public could see the drawing.
Right there. You notice down the bottom there how it's connected to, the blocks are connected together. And I
Reinforced steel.
believe the ones that, and I do believe, that the ones that are there are just sitting on top of one another.
Yes, but they do sit on top of it, but it looks like they're reinforced all the way through.
Right here, the picture is showing that. But I'm saying the blocks that are there. The
Oh,
real
that are currently on site.
that is correct.
Norm, I guess maybe a simplistic question before we get too deep in this is to ask Carl this cut sheet that we got and the drawings for the approved subdivision, do they match or is there differences? If there's differences, then we have to come back and say, how do we handle that? Because now I've got a drawing that is a major modification, not a minor, to how a retaining wall is going to be put in. Maybe that's the question to ask.
Okay. The other thing, and not that this necessarily makes any difference, but we've got that picture up on the screen now.
Yeah.
It looks very, very much to me like, first of all, the very bottom of the picture, the 1.5 layers that you can see at the very bottom are the existing block structure. The darker portion, those 2 additional blocks on top and the cap, that is what is going to have to be done in order to be able to put up the guardrail.
Yeah.
That's what I think they're saying.
Okay.
So at least, that's kind of what it appears to me.
Yeah, and my expectation, Norm, is that I would see a cut sheet or something from a structural engineer with a stamp on it showing how this cut sheet from the customer or from the vendor is going to be applied to Brice Lemon, because that's a structural, or how do I say that? That's an engineered drawing that's stamped by a PE for a retaining wall over 6 feet, if I remember right, 6 or 8 feet.
No.
That is required by the town of Rutland. David, am I right, wrong?
I'm not, again, your question again, please?
Well, my question is this is a cut sheet from, who is it, Red Rock, I think? Red Rock Company?
Ready Rock.
Ready Rock, okay, thank you. And that cut sheet, there should be in Brice Lemon's drawing package a stamped structural engineer drawing showing how this Ready Rock is applied to the retaining wall that's being put up in Brice Lemon in phase 1. And if there's going to be a guardrail on top of that, there should be a detailed drawing on that flange attached post anchor bolt that goes through the top of that horizontal capstone, so to speak. and that's my opinion. I just need something other than a cut sheet as part of the plan of the subdivision plan that somebody, as should be Chief Buckley, can go back to if he's got to ever have this repaired or anything happen to it. I guess that's my question.
Okay.
And if what's in the drawing right now in the subdivision doesn't match that, and something else is being put in, then that structural engineering stamp is for the retaining wall that's being put in is as far as I'm concerned moot. It's got to be the stamp and the review of the retaining wall that's being put in now, not what was designed 5, 6, but how many ever years ago, and then wasn't used.
John,
So are we all in agreement that we need to get a structural engineer out to look at this? And I mean, we're kind of beating around our reasons for it, but let's all agree on it getting done. Do I need to make a motion for that?
Well, I just want to make sure that whoever or whatever we're going to get, we know the right questions to ask. What
Is it
exactly do
structurally
we want this
sound?
person to do?
Is it structurally sound? What other questions could we ask?
Well,
it was on the plan originally.
yeah, and that's to Norm, to your point. I don't want to spend money on something if this retaining wall's built to the drawing that's on Brice Lemon right now. I'm okay with that then. It's just the question on how the top capstones go in, and then that's just a structural engineering quick question. But my concern is I don't have the Brice Lemon drawing in front of me showing the detail of this retaining wall, and that's what I really need to see. And that's I don't have it. So
Let's request it.
yeah, it's like, the only way to request it is have Dave or somebody take it and have it made into a PDF, or request it from Clee in a PDF form so it could be passed out to the board and to Carl or Quinn Engineering so they could
Get a look
give it
at
to a structural engineer to look at. I guess, I don't know.
I'm
just
not
trying to
sure.
make sure everything's okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there is a detail in the Brice Lemon plan for this thing. Particularly, let me see. There's what? 1, 2, 3, at least 4, 5 of these type of walls.
Well, a retaining wall, and again, I apologize, I don't remember the height, but I thought in Rutland, a retaining wall over 6 or 8 feet has to be structurally engineered.
Correct.
I believe that's correct.
So there better be somewhere in that subdivision plan a detail of that retaining wall. And if it was added after, I'm okay with that. But somewhere there's got to be a revision showing that retaining wall update being put in. So if it's not there,
It might very well be just something that just, shows one typical to cover all 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know. Before we're all done, who knows how many retaining walls there actually are.
and I got to ask Carl, is that acceptable? Because in my engineering world, I can't use a typical when I stamp it. It's got to be specific for when you put a structural engineering stamp on something. It's got to be specific. It can't be typical. And David, I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but again, that's my world. I'm not a structural engineer, so I don't know if that's a correct statement. Can we?
Okay, so do we want to go to Carl and at least maybe pick his brain on what it is we should be asking?
Yeah, I think that's good. I think that's a good approach, Norm. How do we handle this?
Yeah.
Dave, does that sound decent to you?
Yes, I can. I will follow up with Carl regarding his email, his 2 emails on the structural design and what he's already commented in his email, and see if he can, see if he can give us some guidance on how to evaluate the proposal, whether the proposal is going to be adequate, and whether a structural engineer can stamp it as such. And whether, so I will do that, yes.
And also, if the plans show the same very thing.
Well, I can go up to town hall and take a look at the plans and see if there's any drawings regarding that.
Okay.
That's not too hard.
Oh, it's just in the other room, isn't it? Oh, wait a minute. No, oh, this is Zoom.
I'll zoom right over there and get it.
All right, I beat this horse to death. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's good. I mean, I'd rather have this thing done right. Period. Good. Thank you.
Okay. Do we have anything else on Brice Lemon?
Yeah, there was one other thing. Let me just find it here. There was that issue, and then there was this issue here of the infiltration for stormwater.
Oh, yeah.
So here's some of the back and forth on that. What Carl is looking for here is he's looking for the applicant to provide a plan to the board with the stormwater information as probably stamped by a stormwater engineer or the equivalent, who can attest that their solution is going to work.
Okay. I don't know why somewhere, I know I had that and I've lost it.
I think this came in late today, so this is a new addition to the
that's
packet.
right. Okay, that's right.
But the information is here.
Yeah.
So I haven't printed it out.
What was it? It was, so yeah.
This also kind of sounds like someone may be trying to do a one-size-fits-all.
You mean a typical norm?
Yes. Yes.
And that's got to stop.
So.
I mean, that's subdivision's not a cookie cutter subdivision, as everybody who's been over there can tell.
Yeah. I just keep thinking of that house up on the top of the hill with the cliff and the retaining wall behind it, how they're going to direct all that roof water.
Heard of Noah's Ark? Anyhow, that was.
Board,
Oh, sorry.
I said, doesn't the select board deal with stormwater? Aren't they the stormwater management?
Not for the subdivision. That's us.
Okay. I'm just trying to pass the buck.
No, that's us, and that's why Carl's making sure the I's are dotted and T's are crossed for the calculations, because that's on him as our engineer.
I mean,
Reviewing
that whole area is one big hill. There's gonna be a lot of water running down there when that gets all paved up and situated. And it just seems like the storms are getting bigger and stronger.
Not lately.
Not lately, yeah.
It's
That one
dry.
we had a couple of days ago.
Well, I guess this is my comment to Carl's request to us. Yes, I would like the board to have him review the plan if he can ever get it. That's my opinion.
So
how do we get him to get it? Is this another letter from Norm, from Dave to Clee requesting that?
I would.
If I could jump in, I think you have the communication here between Carl and Tom of Martelli Construction. So, what Carl is asking for is a plan that shows the recharge and the layout. And then once that plan has been created, Carl will then seek advice from the board whether or not the board wants him to take a look and review that plan. If the answer is yes, now I can relate that to Carl, that yes, when such a plan comes, then he has the authorization to review that plan at that time.
My problem is I don't want that plan coming on the third phase of this subdivision.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
I guess I'm asking through Norm, we got, it's in my opinion, we should be proactive and get this thing done in phase 1. That way they've got a template to do phase 2 and phase 3 from.
Well, this is, I guess sort of. I don't know, the way I'm kind of taking this thing is that each individual lot kind of has to actually have its own plan.
Oh,
Yes.
you indicate that
Supposedly every lot is different.
lot recharge should be. Oh, you're right, Norm. I apologize. I thought this was all the lots in one phase. They were looking for a plan that Carl could review.
Mm-mm. No, because this is roof water, drainage. So each lot is going to be a little bit different.
Yeah.
I think everybody should capture their own rainwater in order to recycle it for yard purposes. I'm being facetious.
Yeah.
But
No, I agree. I think Tom Sawyer should get a memo from Dave.
Yeah.
And
I'm just.
and should have a plan.
But, and again, I'm not a stormwater management guru, but wouldn't we want to have him review all of the lots as from a phase to make sure that whole phase's recharge rate into the stormwater was correct? Instead of because individually, I don't know what that buys the board. I would think we'd be more concerned with the subdivision rather than the individual houses.
That's why I thought he needed a plan, how it's all laid out.
Yeah, and Dick, that's what I was thinking. That's why the individual lots or individual lot doesn't make sense to me. I would think for the phase 1, since it's relatively complete with houses, wouldn't we want to have that plan for review to make sure it was correct before we went to approving the roads for phase 1, right? To make sure the stormwater, because I don't think
know if
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I don't know if the thing is laid out for all opportunity.
Hey, I've got a wild
Something
suggestion
to
that
wash
worked
out
for us.
the front lawn if it isn't designed right.
I got a wild suggestion that worked for us 6-7 months ago. Why don't we invite Carl to our next meeting and ask him all these questions?
a Zoom,
A Zoom meeting, yeah.
Oh boy.
I
he's
know.
a great space coaster.
Because, and you guys and Marilyn can tell me if I'm wrong, but it seems like we're just going in circles without knowing what Carl wants, needs, or can do for us.
Well, let's start right here with, does anyone know what the stormwater or state regulations say regarding roof water?
I personally don't.
And with all the different changes that the state's going through right now with stormwater, who knows?
My guess is that what they are saying is that all of the roof water from a house is supposed to be recharged onto the land that the house is on.
Okay.
Correct.
But my question, Norm, is that a planning board? And this is where I need Carl or David to tell me, is this a planning board issue or a con or Board of Health? I mean, I don't want to overstep our bounds if it's not our responsibility. So
that I honestly, I don't know.
all right. Can Mr. find that? Let me ask.
Well, if I may, Peter Crane just sent me a text message. You know, he is the chair of CONCOM.
Yep.
He did say Carl has attended many CONCOM Zoom meetings. I hate saying that. And I'm asking him who's responsible. So I'm just waiting for his response.
Good.
Well, maybe we could ask Carl to attend our next Zoom meeting. My opinion.
Well, we can do that.
And then in the meantime, we've got questions for him on the retaining wall based upon drawings. Just, you know, doesn't match. Yes or no?
That's the biggest thing, is that we need to get plans that match everything that's being done, because once the town takes over the subdivision, it's going to need documents to go back and look at if anything goes wrong. It's a matter of public safety, I think.
Well, Sean, you just hit my pet peeve again, and you guys can tell me, and Marilyn, if I'm wrong, but I think that's been the whole problem with Brice Lemon, is getting revisions to drawings as things are being done, and getting it to us after it's been done. I'm okay with, as long as we've got record of it and we can look it over. But I don't think we're getting that. I don't think we're getting revisions. We're getting pieces here and there.
And we're getting reports from.
Okay, Peter responded to me.
I'm supposed to send us that. Go ahead, Sean.
Okay, he says DPW is responsible unless the property is near wetlands. Then it's CONCOM. It's not clean yet. DPW and CONCOM are discussing bylaw changes to clean this up.
So then we should talk to Chief Buckley about this.
I agree.
But and David, you can. I know you and I've had this talk. Again, and I think the board, we've had this talk about the drawings from Brice Lemon. There's no revision numbers. We don't know what's new. And to me, it's getting to be an old argument, because to Sean's point, we're going to get to phase 3 and we're not going to have what's actually been done in phase 1 and phase 2 final. And I'm just struggling with that. I mean, that's not, I just don't like it. I guess I'll leave it at that.
Well, I mean, I don't know whose defense this is. That's the builder's problem. You know, until as long as when the final completion. I mean, yes, we need to look over these you know, these maps. We need to look over these plans to make sure what's being done is by law. But if anything goes wrong, it's the builder's responsibility right now. Am I not right on that? Because the town's accepted nothing from him yet. So if they get a whole landslide up there, wipes out several houses, that's the builder's responsibility. God forbid something like that happens, but that's a lot of dirt on that hill.
I guess, Norm, through you, I guess I'm trying to be proactive and, you know, make sure we don't go through the Bear Hill 90 different issues. So now, if we've got plans that have revisions on it and updates, when we get to this phase, it's not only helping the developer, but it's helping out the town. And I guess that's what I'm pushing for.
I guess, part of, and I realize, we do have a problem with this idea of revisions to plans, getting copies of revisions, and all of that stuff. But, mixed in with this, what I'm also hearing is that, here's the plans. How do we know that everything is built according to the plans?
Yeah.
Well, unless we have a full-time engineer on staff to follow every bit and piece of the construction, we can't.
Yeah.
But isn't that what we hired? I mean, Carl, I know Carl does checks, but ultimately he's our eyes and ears, correct?
To the point that he can be,
Oh,
yes.
Yeah. All right. I guess I'm struggling with giving the developer a buy on not having the most updated plans in the planning board's hands. That's where I'm struggling.
Yeah.
And I know Clee's done updates. I get it, and we've seen these updates, but bits and pieces helps no one. A clear plan, and I don't care if we get, I'm just throwing a number out there. There's 20 drawings in a packet, and he's made changes to 6 of them. If we got 6 revised drawings to add into our original packet, I'm okay with that. I've done that before, but I don't think we're getting that. And if somebody can tell me if I'm wrong, I love being wrong, but I think we've just gotten bits and pieces, sketches. And that's not acceptable in my mind for a plan that should be turned over to the town.
Well, part of it is, I don't know if we know what we're getting.
Yes, that's what scares me too, Nor.
Okay, and there I guess is a housekeeping problem, and I don't have an answer for that. It's kind of one of these things where. I don't know. We need someone with an, absolutely photographic, chronologically perfect memory.
No,
to stay on top of this.
No, at Riley, how we handled it, and again, I apologize. I'm using my old company for an answer, but we always had everything documented with revision numbers and drawings. So somebody in 20 or 30 years could go look, and that guy that did the drawing's gone, but there's a revision block and a revision, if you want to call it, table that outlines everything that's been done on that drawing, and that helps everybody 20 years or 30 years or 40 years down the road answer those questions when that individual's not around, and that's all I'm asking for. And maybe that's something we need to put out in a directive to our developers. This is our expectations. I don't know.
I think we had some discussions about this a few months or a year or so back.
Yeah.
And it didn't go anywhere. And I think what we were trying to do was actually dump it on Quinn Engineering.
I was going to ask if that's something that I wouldn't mind pulling. If Carl had a standard for how to do revisions, put that as an addendum to. It's not a bylaw, but it's a. I don't know. It's part of our subdivision housekeeping rules. I don't know. I'm stretching stuff now.
Tim, why don't we ask him at our next meeting? About.
I will. I've actually wrote this down on a notepad next to me that it's been a pet peeve of mine probably for the last 5 years, but it's Brice Lemon's really, really bringing it out that what he's done. So, and Bear Hill probably should have, and I missed it on that one, but Brice Lemon's really shown me that we don't have revision control over the drawings coming into the town, and I just don't like that.
Well, let's ask Carl for the next meeting and try to.
All right, I've got it written down as a question.
Yeah.
I guess I want to ask Dave too. In Lexington, did you guys have for your subdivisions? Did you guys have a revision control method?
In Lexington, there was a full-time engineering staff
Oh,
who was directly in contact with the subdivision, the builder on a regular basis.
okay.
It was doing
We
a
don't
lot
have
of
it.
work, which would be done by Quinn, but even more so.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go talk to Mike about a position opening up for me tomorrow. Then.
Yeah.
I think that would be an ethics issue.
I'll resign from the board quickly.
So, it does seem that we might be able to write something into our subdivision regulations
Yeah.
regarding something much more detailed regarding revisions, process, procedure, records,
Yeah. Okay.
I think maybe one of the things was, there was a while, it seems as though I think subdivision were being built pretty darn rapidly, and now it's not really happening.
Correct.
We get a subdivision approved, and I'm even thinking Britnell Estates. They haven't even started working on it yet, and there's probably going to be some major revisions coming in on that.
Yeah, we're going to have to talk about that. I wish we had a business meeting, because I'd like to talk about that in our business meeting. Britnell Estates, but that's not on the topic, so I'm not gonna. It's not on our agenda, so I'm not gonna go there. So anyhow,
when we can talk face to face.
Yeah.
Yes. Next
All
meeting.
right. Well, I guess that. I guess the bottom line is: do we request Norm? Do we request Carl in for the next meeting through Dave?
Well, I'm going to say not our next meeting, because that's the public hearing for the ag bylaw.
Our next, is it the 23rd is our next meeting, our full-time meeting, and the 17th is when we're having the bylaw. Correct. I'm trying to get to the, where's the town website?
Let's see. June.
I believe it would be June 23rd if it was the regularly scheduled one.
Yeah.
Okay.
When
Just
was the
a-
town meeting?
Just a reminder, Tim. Election, I think, is on the 22nd.
Yes. If
So
you
you're
drive
gonna
by,
You're going to need to get sworn in.
oh Jesus. Yeah. Yeah. So election's on that Monday, and then somewhere that Tuesday morning, I've got to get sworn in before the meeting.
Right.
Oh God. Well, I
I'm
guess
sure you could probably I'm sure you could do a phone swearing. I mean, I swear on the phone all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I might be a new employee of a new company within a week or so, so I'm not sure how that's going to work out. So, all right, well, I'll figure it out. I've got this week and next to talk with Anita and find out what I need to do.
Yeah, that's assuming she's back from vacation.
Oh, is she on vacation right now?
Well, not to digress, but we need a little humor here.
Okay.
Because we had our bylaw committee meeting, and she is on vacation up in Moosehead Lake. And she zoomed in from Moosehead Lake.
Oh,
She was sitting, apparently, she moved outside of the cabin or whatever they've got up there. And about a quarter of the way through the meeting, I'm assuming it's one of these bush planes came overhead.
Oh, Jesus.
And I guess the loons don't like it when those planes fly low.
Yeah.
And right after the plane flight, all you could hear was all of the loons squawking over what we were trying to say.
Wow. I did, and this might be Norm, since we're talking about the hearings and everything, our meeting on the 23rd on the town calendar, it is scheduled remote hearing at 9:24 p.m. Is that right? On the agenda it says 650 at Glenwood Road, or it's Glenwood Road for a state lot. This doesn't make any sense. The 23rd. Oh, is that it says planning board public hearing notice, remote hearing, Glenwood, and it says it's 6:50, but on the calendar, if somebody went to look at the calendar for the town, it says planning board hearing notice, remote hearing, 9:24 p.m.
Okay, that needs to be corrected on the calendar then.
I just wanted Normie, you and Dave to know that, and that's pretty much it.
Okay, you got that one, Dave?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take a look tomorrow to see what the situation is.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, sir. I'll have to okay, that's it. Thanks. What's our next topic?
Okay, we got anything more on Brice Lemon?
And at the moment, I don't know how the logger is still working down there over on the open space.
Mhm.
So I haven't heard anything from DEP lately either. So hopefully everything is okay.
Yeah.
But I tell you, I think maybe in the next section of the agenda, I had asked Dave to put in there subdivision rules and regulations in open space.
Yeah, and again, I know it's not on the agenda, but I just wanted to bring it up again for what any of you guys are thinking of. I think I mentioned this at a last meeting with this, this whole homeowners thing and all that sort of thing, of amending our subdivision regulations so that all of the detention ponds and any other kind of drainage structures are contained in the right of way that the town takes.
I like that, Norm. But that's a 2/3 vote by the town, right? Because that's a zoning.
No, that would just be, well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it can be in subdivision or if it would have to carry over into the open space bylaw.
Okay.
That's something we'd have to investigate.
Okay.
And just as a, by the way, Clee loves to talk with me.
You and me both.
And, I brought that up to him, that same subject. And he didn't think it was a bad idea. But he also said that if that happens, then the homeowners should be charged a fee for the maintenance on them, just like they're charged for sewer and water for both the usage and maintenance of sewer and water systems. Any thoughts on that?
My thoughts was yank out home HOAs no more, period. If he wants to put them in, but in my opinion, the town should have nothing to do with it. And the open space, instead of having the 5 norm, different people, it goes to the town.
Yeah, but that means the town takes on an added cost, and they've got.
What added cost? I mean, how many of these detention ponds are they messing around with? None.
Well, okay, I'm saying they would have an added cost if they did the job.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of the conundrum there.
Yeah.
Because, my guess would be the only time there's going to be anything done maintenance-wise on that stuff is if there's some kind of a real failure.
I was just going to say, Norm, it's got to be a catastrophe before anybody does anything.
A discharge pipe collapses,
yeah.
Or something like that. They're not going to go in and cut the brush and all that.
We have a hurricane.
So, but like I say, that's, well, I don't know. I don't know what to do. Anyway, food for thought.
Hey, Dick, that sounds like a business meeting discussion.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to get something out there because at our next meeting, I want the public hearing on it. And, you know, if it is a subdivision regulation, if it's something that we like, come up with it right now or within the next meeting or two, have a public hearing and then vote on it.
Yeah.
And the only reason why
Well, you got Brittenell Estates coming up. That's a big subdivision.
it's a big subdivision, but to me, that's not the only one. We have others that are going to be happening in the near future. Because I'm sorry, but you know, to me, I think the housing industry is going to go boom on us.
Yeah, but are we going to get like all the other, there's 2 or 3 subdivisions that approved. We can't go back and retroactive those, can we?
No.
No,
Yeah.
but we only have Brice and the Hill over there,
Yeah, Noble Hill.
Noble Hill,
Okay.
between Harry Johnson and the one on 122. We have no plans per
Yeah,
se.
you're right.
The one of them. So
Yeah, there's also McAllister.
Oh, McAllister. But as Norm, we've never got a final drawing on that, correct? Or what's the word I'm looking for?
no, we never did because he only had 9 lots, wasn't it?
Well, you know, here we go again. How good is everybody's memory?
Yeah, and if we had
All I know is that the timeline, we missed the timeline, and as far as if anybody take a hard look at it, they've got constructor will be approved on that one.
yeah, okay.
It's
I
just,
think they were nice enough. I think they did sign it, but in reality, we missed it.
Well, Norm, I did, like you said, I ran into Clee, and he said he's been talking with the homeowners at Brice Lemon, and again, this is all verbal between him and I. This is not him presenting it to the board, but he was okay if there was going to be a fence involved. And I said, well, you could check our minutes, but I think the board was amicable to allowing you to do that if you so choose.
Yeah. I reinforced that to him as well.
Okay, good.
This is Sean Mead from 73 Woodside.
Yes.
And I was talking with a few people about the bylaws and whatnot. And it's actually already in there that the town can take over any part of the open space at, I guess, any time or when it's voted on to put forward. Section 35 of the zoning bylaw gives 4 options
Yeah, that's correct.
to open space. Now,
Those
is there any way to change that now? And if I know you guys are opposed to a fence overall, have agreed to do it or not make them take it down if it does go up.
Yeah.
Now, is there any way that the town can take over that part of open space easily? Is that something that has to be voted on or something that you guys have to change?
That's our business meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, and again, trying to do something retroactively is very, very difficult. And the other thing on that one is, I believe those choices are the choices that the developer is allowed to make.
Yes.
Okay, not the planning board.
Yeah.
I may be wrong,
That's correct.
but I believe those are the choices that are given to the developer. They can pick whichever one they want.
Okay. And as far as, I know you guys were talking about stormwater management, is a detention pond a stormwater management system or a feature that the town would have to hold accountable for their MS4 certification? and why is it being put onto a homeowners group to maintain their stormwater system? Because that goes back to all the catch basins eventually run down to that area and maintain the stormwater that runs off the hill behind the house on Oakley Circle and all the houses that are on Woodside Ave that have that big drainage trench that runs all the way down that catches all the stormwater off their roofs, off their lawns, off the street. Everything kind of goes down to there. Now, the MS4 certification is water pollution management, and that has to be maintained by the town. Shouldn't that system be maintained by the town if it's part of their certification?
I believe it is, but I can't be 100%.
You know what? Dick?
One other thing, too, just to put in there, Phase 2, don't forget, also runs in that direction of Phase 1.
Yeah. I really think that question, which is a very good question, either Dave or Norm or somebody, we should pose that to Chief Buckley. Correct?
I think so.
I've also been trying to get a hold of Chief Buckley and have yet to be able to get in touch with him.
Okay.
And I know a couple of weeks ago we had talked about getting in touch with Holden. Is that part of the business meeting or?
No, again, I've left messages. The unofficial word I got is Holden does charge the homeowners associations for cleaning out their detention ponds. I have not got that as an official, but I've got it as a off the record. So I need a confirmation of that.
I've talked to several people that live in Blair Developments in Holden that all have detention pond systems, stormwater management systems. None of them have ever seen a bill or have ever heard that they were going to be charged for it.
But do they pay into it? The people you've talked to, do they pay into a homeowners association?
They have no recollection of a homeowners association.
Wow.
I've done research on it. They are there, but nobody really knew anything about it because the way it's worded, people don't have to be notified of it because it's worded as a trust. Within the trust, it changes over to the name of a homeowners association.
But everybody should have that on their deed or their title of their property. So legitimately, everybody in that subdivision is responsible for those detention ponds and whatever else maintenance that's defined in that homeowners agreement. So
But
they
nobody-
might not know about it, but they're sure as heck going to be responsible for it.
But nobody's ever been charged for it. And
Wow.
I know they have been maintained on a regular basis because they have
Okay.
quarterly and yearly inspections on them.
Well, I'll keep working. I've left messages multiple times for the DPW chief and Holden. And every time I have called back, busy, in a meeting, not there. So I went through my people that I know in different departments and in Holden, and they said that there was a fee to specific subdivisions inside of Holden. But again, it was all unofficial, nothing from the DPW chief.
Okay.
So I'll give me to the 23rd, and I'll have that answer one way or another if I got to go and sit in his office and wait.
Okay. And same thing with the MS4 certification and stormwater management.
That's got to be Chief Buckley. I don't know.
Okay.
Dick, do we need or Dave, is that something you can have a discussion with Chief Buckley during this week?
Well, I think if the caller here has started to try to get a hold of Mr. Buckley, maybe I can just ask Mr. Buckley to respond directly to the party making the inquiry.
Perfect.
All right. I will give him a call first thing in the morning and see if I can get a hold of him. If not, Dave, I'll give you a call and see if you can track him down. And I can leave my information with you as well.
You know, I'm wondering in Holden if they aren't wrapping that charge or fee into their water and sewer bills.
That's a possibility, Norm. But yeah, because I think if I'm not mistaken, most of Blair's subdivisions are water and sewer. They're not well and septic like some of ours.
Yeah, in Holden.
In Holden, yes.
Yeah.
Holden. All right, I'll keep working.
Okay. Anything else on Brice Lemon?
No.
Okay. Under, let me see, old business, it says nothing. Next, accessory agricultural use zoning bylaw, updates and schedule. I'm pretty sure we have the schedule.
Yep.
Dave?
Yeah, I was just really a brief update. So as you know, the select board decided to place the article. So tomorrow, Thursday, there's a meeting with the FinCom. I understand that they will be taking a position on the article. So we would be, I guess we would be attending that if the town manager, town administrator would like that. And if there's a meeting of the select board to take a position, we would also be attending. After that, there's an agricultural commission meeting on the 16th. And then there's a planning board meeting on the 17th. I would just let folks know that the comment period is still open. It's open until noon on the 17th. The information can be found at the town's website under the planning page for the presentation and also the bylaw. And we would encourage people to send comments in writing so that we could then distribute those to the planning board as part of a packet for this matter.
Norm, are you going to be in on the Thursday meeting? Because I got sucked in last time.
The Thursday meeting.
Yeah, Thursday FinCom meeting. I mean, only reason I was here is because my beautiful bride's part of the FinCom, and I was in another room when the questions came up.
Okay, I can't say that I was particularly planning on it. I haven't been invited.
Okay. I mean, I did the best I could, but I don't want to speak as the chairman because I'm not the chairman. So,
Dave, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think what I would be doing is just giving notice to the board that the FinCom will be having a meeting to take a position. And then if you're interested in participating, I would leave that up to you. And I would also be notifying the AgCom of the same.
Okay.
I mean, I could be there. I don't have a problem with that because Karen's going to be on the meeting and I'm going to be home. I just didn't want to speak for the entire board because last time they sort of had a bunch of questions about what we did on the, what was going on during the bylaw subcommittee meeting. And I mentioned the planning board was there along with Bonnie Bassett. We went through it. We had extensive discussions. We had some adds, some additions, and the bylaw subcommittee recommended to send it for approval to the planning board. And that's where it stood.
Yeah, and that's about the whole story.
Yeah, and the select board at the planning, the FICOM and the select board were both there, and they thought that it was approved at that meeting. And I said, no. The bylaw subcommittee gets everything done, and then they forward that to the planning board with their recommendation and comments. And that was sort of the, how do I say it? Explaining it to the FICOM and the select board of how we do business.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that, but I didn't make any other comments other than it was recommended. And then the next planning board meeting we'll discuss it, and then it's got to go through hearings and comment periods and such like that.
Okay.
So, I mean, again, I can be there. Go ahead, I'm sorry, Dave.
I guess I would just ask to see if the board is interested in possibly taking a straw poll tonight regarding what it thinks its position might be, or if that's premature, then that's fine too.
I don't know. I personally certainly don't have any problem with it. I don't recall at our last meeting any of the other members having any real problems either.
I'm in favor.
I'll be Norm. I'll agree with Dick. I'm in favor of it.
You need a motion?
Well, I think because there's no actual hearing taking place, this would be more of a straw poll. Just as some indication to the FinCom and anybody else who's interested that the board is likely to support this on the 17th. At least, yeah.
Because we really can't do anything with this until after we have all the hearings, correct?
Correct.
So this is more of anything to give the FinCom and the Select Board on Thursday unless something really changes, this is our position at this point.
Correct.
I plan on appearing at the Thursday meeting, not to represent planning board, but on other matters. If
Oh no,
there
Sean,
is
you're
something
there. You're taking my
that needs-
position, buddy.
Well, like I said, I intend on being there on matters other than planning board or zoning bylaw. I'll be there nonetheless. Hopefully to make that publicly known.
Norm, if you can't be there, I mean, I don't mind, since I'm in the house and the meeting's going on, I don't mind explaining to the Select Board or the FICOM of our position based on tonight's meeting.
Yeah. You know, I can be there.
Okay.
So.
Just another reason to wear the microphone and the headphones.
Yeah, right. I love these things.
All right.
Can I and forgive me if this was, can I get a consensus though if we're still talking about the ag bylaw? I mean, are we supporting it or not as a board? I mean, it's already been put through to put on the warrant, but I want to be. Was that something you guys want to just wait until we have our hearing?
Well, a straw poll, I'll say yes.
Straw poll, yes.
Yeah. Straw poll, I'll say yes.
I'm on the fence.
All right, Marilyn?
Yes.
All right.
So we can make a statement that it appears that a majority of the planning board is in favor of it.
Yep.
It appears.
Yep. Nothing's official until we actually vote on it after the hearings.
Yeah,
Right.
that's correct.
Okay, cool. Next.
Okay.
I'm getting to Addison mode where, okay, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm skipping supper right now.
Yeah. Okay. Item 9, zoning board site plan review
Saw this.
on 624 183 Yates County Road for an 8,000 square foot building for commercial use. Anybody, any comments?
Hooray!
Does that mean we're getting a new tax rate?
Right.
Yeah. But I'm glad to see this.
Yeah, that's great to have business in town.
Yeah.
Only thing I'm missing, Dick, is I don't see the street lights there.
No, but it does say that he has lights around the back of the, near the doors.
Yeah, for security, I'm betting.
That is correct.
Yeah, I think this is great. I still think we should come up with a schedule to walk this down, just to dot our I's and cross our T's.
Well, I've been there when I was on Concom. It used to be Harry Johnson's old piece of property where the new building is going.
Yeah.
So I'm perfectly happy, and not only that, to your upper side, that's where the storage units are planning to go.
What is this? Curtis's building?
Yes. Yep.
Is this just an addition to what he's doing right now?
Yes, it's going to be right. It's going to be, yeah, right beside it. And I believe it was something about for loading, unloading stock. He builds those snow plows. He has
And Dick can also trailer wiring and for their first place welding.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's got quite a little business going there.
That's great.
Yeah.
Not to mention they're race car drivers.
Yes.
But do we need to take a walk, or is this something we can have Carl do, or you tell me?
In all honesty, everything is there. To me, it's up to the building inspector to inspect it, but
It's an application for site plan, and we had a the word I'm looking for, we had a application, if I remember right, and then we had I remember doing this before. We had a checklist for site plan if everything is there.
No.
No, that wasn't.
No. This is strictly ZBA's ball of wax.
Oh,
The only thing we do is comment if we have any problems or that sort of thing.
I apologize, Norm. I just saw the Board of Appeals at the top of this.
Yeah.
I apologize. So, should we send I mean, this is my opinion. I like it.
Yeah. Our normal response is that we have no concerns with this proposal.
Excellent. I like that.
I'll make a motion to that.
Second.
Any discussion on that? Hey, in favor, roll call. Marilyn,
Aye.
Dick,
Aye.
Sean,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Norm, aye.
Good.
So we'll get a letter out or just a email or something to the ZBA board chairman.
Yes, I'll take care of the correspondence on that. Yep.
Excellent.
I was just gonna say I can help out too if necessary.
Okay,
It's
thank
gonna
you.
come to me and then I can get it over to the board.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, so we're at number 10.
Other for discussion, including subdivision regulations and open space. Well, we talked a little bit about that already.
Yeah.
Anybody?
As much as I would like to talk about it, I am starting to lose
Focus.
focus. Yeah. No, internet keeps fading in and out on this thing.
Yeah.
So, but is there any chance that we can have a meeting somehow face to face, 6 feet apart? But can we?
I'm betting, Dick, that the town admin's not going to let that happen until after July 1st.
You got to be kidding me.
I'm not.
You go to New Hampshire and you take a look around up there. Give me a break.
Hey, I give you the bad news. We had to cancel our trip to Maine because if we went up to Maine right now and stayed at Booth Bay Harbor, we would be basically quarantined for 14 days from doing anything in Maine because that's what their procedures are still in Maine.
Oh, my word.
If you're an out-of-stater, in-state, different story. Out-of-stater, you're on a 14-day quarantine still in the state of Maine.
All right. Well,
1st of July is not that far away.
Correct.
no, it isn't.
So let's plan for a business meeting on the 4th.
No parade, might as well.
Yeah. We'll make some fireworks.
Yes. I've heard that the Atlas fireworks that we typically buy our fireworks has been told we're on hold maybe till September. So we can have them send down a sampling bundle for the planning board.
There you go.
All right. Well, maybe another meeting, but the sooner that we get together, the better off, in my book.
I totally agree.
Yep.
And I really would like, you know, I'm hoping things are calmed down enough that we can spend a lot of time on our regulations, going through them, because we've had a lot of situations, and I feel that we need and to be involved. That's how we all learn. And Norm, I can going back way the heck back to the last time we did it. I don't know how many years ago that was.
Mhm.
That was the best thing that we ever did. That's, you know, where a lot of it sunk in and stayed. So
Yeah. Let me ask David, this is I'm not an expert, and I'm sure Mike Nicholson is, but if restaurants are able to have no more than 6 people at a table, and they've got to be 6 feet apart, I guess I'm curious why we couldn't have a meeting and be at a table, since there's less than 6 of us, and or there'll be a total 6 of us with you there, and be 6 feet apart. I guess I'm curious of, can we ask that question to the town administrator and see? Because we're in phase 2 now by Governor Baker's decree.
Well, as I understand it, there's the phasing plan, right? I don't know that the phasing plan, well, the phasing for phase 2 doesn't take into consideration the town government buildings. I'd have to check with Mike to see if he anticipates that to be a later phase or what he knows about it.
Okay.
He's been directly involved with those conference calls to get the updates from the various secretariats.
Yeah.
You know, health, education, and so forth, and also the governor's updates as well. So I could certainly ask him that question, when he would expect that to be. Although I think what Norm was saying is probably more likely that sometime after July 1st, as the emergency order ends. See, right now there's the governor's emergency order, which I believe expires on July 1st.
Okay.
So after it expires, I think that ought to open up a lot of things, but I don't know that for sure. I'd have to look into that further.
It was just a question for Mike, because I'm struggling with, if you can go to a restaurant and have outdoor, and to Dick's point, if we'd have to have it sitting on a bench table over at the Memorial Park, I'm fine with that. But we can get a lot more done face to face than we can over these Zoom meetings. That's my opinion.
The only thing is, the town buildings are still closed to the public, so being an open, with open meeting law, the public wouldn't be able to attend our meetings.
How do we go into executive session to talk about the? I'm sorry. No, that's wrong. But I want to get to Dick's point. I really want it. We were going to do this in April, and unfortunately, COVID got in the way of it. But I really want to get this done this summer or this fall. Get this business meeting, even if it takes a couple business meetings. But get this rolling.
we need to very desperately. There's a lot of things that need to be happening, and it's up to us, in my opinion, to do it. To sit down and do it.
I agree with you. With the stock market roaring back to what it was pre-COVID, I think the housing market's going to take off too, and it's going to be a bubble. It's going to last for 6 to 18 months, and we better be prepared for it.
And I don't know how long. What is it? How long did we have this quarantine? Not quarantine, but the building shutdown thing. Was that for 2 years?
You mean development when he did that 2008 or to 2010? What's the word I'm looking for? Sort of override.
We'd have to go back. I forgot how many years. I have to take another look how many years it was, and we have to go back. But I'm just thinking, if Mr. Blair or somebody else comes into town and I don't know. I just don't know what things could happen. Let's just put it that way.
Correct.
So I just soon try to get this business meeting as soon as possible.
July 4th.
Yeah. I may
All
be
right.
uptown.
Is that a Tuesday?
I'll be uptown with the brush hog anyways.
By the way, July 4th happens to be a Saturday.
Well, okay, I'll do the 3rd. All right, let's go eat.
All right.
We got to close 2 meetings.
Right.
Make a motion to close the subdivision meeting. Not bylaw stuff.
He's losing focus. He's losing
I'll
focus.
I'll second that.
I'm not sure what you seconded, what you said.
We're closing the
Adjourn.
meeting. Your meeting.
All right. There's a motion and a second. Do I have any discussion to close the meeting? All those, we need a roll call, right?
Yep.
And I can't see you. Sean?
Aye.
I keep forgetting your names.
Dick Williams, aye.
Norwald, aye.
Norm, aye.
And I.
Aye, 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 aye.
Make a motion to close the planning board hearing. Planning board meeting. Holy God.
I second Dick's enthusiasm to close the planning board meeting for tonight.
Okay, roll call. Marilyn,
I.
Tim,
Aye.
Sean,
Aye.
Dick,
Aye.
and Norm, aye.